Hey guys, it's Mernette again, and I wanted to make a really quick video on just meditation, what is meditation, how I got started, and just a few quick little tips to get you going. So I guess first, the 4 tips that I have for anyone who's trying to meditate or trying to start, this process of meditation, because I get it. It could be, pretty hard and confusing and a little bit stressful if you don't, if you're not getting it at first, I guess you could say. The 4 things that help me is being in a quiet place, focus, bringing it back, and then a timer. Pretty much it. So what is meditation? Well, my quick little definition is just trying your hardest to think of nothing. I mean, it sounds easy, but if you really try it, it's really hard, and you'll actually be surprised of how many crazy thoughts just go back and forth through your head. But I mean, really, it's just focusing on, your present moment and, what you're doing at that present time, and, just really just being with yourself for the most part. There's so many benefits to, meditation. It reduces your stress level. It lowers your blood pressure. It helps your brain function. It helps increase your memory and increase just your mental strength overall. So if nothing else, I mean, there's a lot of good benefits to it. So how I got started was, I think for a lot of us, we go through this life, in pretty much like a hamster wheel. We're going. We're either going to work or going to school or taking care of the family or going to the grocery store, taking care of this, taking care of that. And we're always constantly running. So for me, that's kind of how I felt for a long time. And I just assumed, well, it's part of being adult. I grew up, I have kids, I'm married. That's just what it is. But now that I'm realizing, you don't have to keep going. You just need time to just settle your mind and relax. So for me, what really got me to that point was I was just tired of going, and I never felt like I had a break, in a sense, where it's, I'm going so much, while I'm awake and, doing all this stuff and stressing out about, things that, really are insignificant. Things that really don't matter. I would just tend to stress out about it, or not even stress, maybe overthink it. That might be a better word for it. But for me, I remember most of my dreams, and back when, I was extremely stressed out or having all these thoughts going through my mind constantly, when I did sleep, all of my dreams were just pretty much my day-to-day stresses. So it's even when I slept, I didn't get a break. So it's 24 hours a day, 7 days a week of just going nonstop. So then finally, I sat here and I was thinking, I'm like, this isn't how life's supposed to be. We're not just supposed to, go and then die. It sounds dramatic, but I don't feel like that's how life's supposed to be. So, I dabbled into meditation out through the years. I would do it here and there, but like I said, my mind it kept going. It was in a race. So when I did try to just sit down and focus and meditate and try to clear my mind, it didn't work. I sat there after, 2 seconds of my eyes being closed. I would just have thoughts going. And then I realized, well, I'm not doing anything. I have better things to do. I could be cooking dinner. I could be, doing homework. I could be watching TV or doing whatever, other than focusing on meditation. So I did that for, a few years. And then this past year, I really decided that I wanted to put my focus in it. And, I really wanted to decrease my stress level. For the past, I would say maybe a year or 2 years, I've been really trying to focus on myself a little bit more. So I figured, I should really be disciplined and try this. And if it doesn't work, hey, chalk it up for a loss. No big deal, So I started meditating. And for me, since my mind does, it's very active. So what I would do, I would make sure I did it every single day consistently. I would do it in the morning. I would do it at night. When I first started, maybe the first couple weeks, I would honestly do it every chance that I get. Every time I had a free moment, if I was at work, if I, had a break, at home, in the morning, whatever, just to really get me in the routine of doing it. So the one thing I learned is the first step. I need to go into either a quiet place or somewhere where there's no distractions. I have 2 kids, an 8 and a 6-year-old. So, they're constantly running through the house, needing mom for everything and anything. But I would literally have to take myself out of that room, go into a different room, close the door, put on my headphones, and just focus. First thing, quiet place. Anywhere, even if it's, when your kids are asleep at night, give yourself 5-10 minutes, Second thing is just focusing, I just said it, but really, when you're meditating, you're focusing on your breathing, you're focusing on, you can focus on a body part if that helps. A lot of people will focus like on the tip of their nose, or they'll focus on the middle of their forehead, or they'll focus on, where their heart is, and they'll just focus on that spot. For me, I use headphones. I use music. I kind of like gong music or just anything that's really relaxing. The third tip that helped me, that kind of goes along with this, is just bringing it back. So when you start to meditate, and when you do have such an active mind, as soon as you start, meditating, or as soon as you start trying to focus on your breath or the music or a body part, your mind tends to wander off on, I have to make this list, or I can't forget to go to the store, or I can't forget to pay this bill, or I can't forget, or I can't whatever, whatever it is, your mind starts going. So once you catch yourself, whether it's in the first 20 seconds or if it's 2 minutes later, once you catch yourself and your mind wandering, tell yourself, no, I need to bring it back. I need to focus. And literally, when I first started doing this, it was maybe every 2 minutes, bring it back, because my mind would just wander and I wouldn't even notice it was wandering. And then finally, when I noticed, it's like, okay, cool, I need to bring it back. That way I can get back to the focusing. The final thing, the fourth thing that I did for me is to set a timer. So I would either pick a YouTube video that was maybe like 10 or 15 minutes starting off, and then I did it to that. So even in my head, when I'm thinking like, man, it's been like, 45 minutes, it's been so long, realistically, I know my video is only 15 minutes. So you need to just sit there at least for the duration of the video. If you're not going to do that, you could just set an alarm on your phone for 10 minutes, 15, 5, whatever you're comfortable with at first. And just sit down. You know what time you set. So just sit down. If your mind wanders, it happens. Let it wander. You know what I mean? If you could bring it back, great. Bring it back. And when you first start doing it, it may just wander and the time's up and you don't even notice it wanders. That's okay. That's fine. That's what practice is for. Daily practice. And eventually you will get better. So for me, finding that quiet place, putting on my headphones, focusing on the music that's going, and then just really realizing, bringing back my thoughts. Now, for me, when I do meditate, it's easier for me. My mind still wanders, I'm not perfect. It wanders, and it still wanders a lot, but it's nowhere near what it used to be. And I'm able to bring it back way quicker than I was. Before, it would be almost literally 7-8 minutes into the video, a 15-minute video. And then I realized, wow, the video is halfway done and I've been thinking about everything but what I'm supposed to. And it's okay, and I accepted it, and it's like, okay, well, tomorrow I'll do better, tonight I'll do better. But I've been doing this every day for the past few months, consistently. Usually I would do it in the morning, did it during my break, so then I would do it, when I'm laying down for bed. But I only did that for the first few weeks. Now I pretty much do it in the morning, and then I do it, before I go to bed. And for me, it helps. And I know I need to, dedicate a little bit more time to it because I am still in the beginning stages and my mind still wanders, and I'm really trying to get to the point where it wanders, way less. But I've noticed such a huge change in myself over these past few months. And I don't know, it's amazing how quick I've progressed. The fact that when I'm holding a conversation with, a person or a coworker or a customer or my husband or whatever the case is, or, my kids that could be agitating me or, start sparking like a little bit of irritation, I'm able now to just focus on what's going on right then and there, and all those other thoughts that typically happens when you're in an argument or when you're in a disagreement or whatever the case is. You start thinking about the next move, the outcome. Once I'm able to realize that I just need to focus on what's going on right now, all that other stuff kind of just vanishes, and it makes, the argument or the disagreement or whatever it is, it actually makes it a lot easier. And once you realize that it doesn't really exist, like, the argument's real. We know that, but all the other stuff that you're putting into it is unnecessary. You don't have to. So why purposely put yourself through unnecessary suffering that you don't have to do? So for me, meditation, it's helped. I mean, I'm way more calm. I'm way more still. I'm way more, I think, peaceful. I'm not, at the point where I'm 100% at peace, but I feel like I'm definitely more peaceful, even, dealing with my kids. And, kids can challenge you. Like I said, I have an 8-year-old and a 6-year-old, and they're at that age where they're starting to challenge you a little bit more. And I've realized that I can actually meditate my way through whatever the challenge is, where I have control of my voice and have control over, what my reaction's going to be. And I've noticed such a huge change in how my kids respond to me or how other people respond to me. And this isn't just in a disagreement or argument. This is really in, anything. It could be just day-to-day life, Eventually I would love to get to the point where, I could do walking meditation where, I'm just out and about and in the store and, walking around and doing my daily routine, and I'm pretty much meditating the whole time. Eventually I would love to get to that, peaceful point. I'm not there yet and I have a long ways to go, and it's fine, but for me, it's completely helped. And by the way, the dreams that I had, that I still remember, my dreams have completely shifted. Before, like I told you, all my dreams would be literally about stress, day-to-day stress, just in a dream form. Now, my dreams are still realistic for the most part, but all the stress is out of them. I'm actually able to have peaceful dreams. So for my sleep, I've been able to, sleep extremely well. I'm not as tired in the morning. I feel like I have more energy. I feel just an overall peace, an overall calmness. I think, just with meditation and just my own experience, it's opened up a huge world to me. I mean, I've been seeing things so much differently now. The only way that I could describe it is waking up. I've been sleepwalking through the past, 20 some odd years of my life. And now I'm finally starting to wake up. I'm starting to see the things that have always been there, as corny as it sounds. The, clouds are going across the sky and how they move across the sky, or the contrast between the white and the blue, and, flowers and, how beautiful they look just when they bloom, and whatever the case is. I missed all that. I feel like I've missed all of that because I've been just constantly running, physically, doing so much, but then mentally doing so much. So when I did get that few seconds of just time for myself, I still missed everything. It's really sad, but I'm so happy that finally I'm waking up and I'm seeing and I'm realizing. One quote that I want to leave you with is by Russell Simmons. He says, "Meditation will help lift your foot up out of the emotional quicksand you thought was pulling you down and let you start walking again." I love that quote. I mean, try to do the meditation, whatever you're going through, it will really help ease your mind and slow down your mind and just really focus on what's important and what's going on, in the present moment. Okay, so that's it for me. I really appreciate you guys watching. Subscribe, like, go to my website, paintedape.com. I do blogs, so every video that I do, I'm going to try to do a blog with it. That way, you kind of get the written version, I guess you could say. I can express myself a little bit differently through words, I guess. I don't know. But go to my blog. Thank you for watching. Thank you for giving me your time. Love, light, and peace, you guys. Bye.